The movie starts by introducing a guy named Eddie Deacon. He used to be a captain in the Marines, but now he's trying to find a job at a company that hires people from outside. However, the lady who talked to Eddie during his interviews said they didn't have a job that matched his background. She thought this way because Eddie had some mental struggles after leaving the Marines. Eddie felt really sad and told the lady he'd been without a job for a whole year. He really needed a job so he could take care of his wife and daughter. Eddie was ready to do any kind of work, even if it meant being a janitor. When Eddie was walking back to his car, the lady called out to him. She said there might be a job that could work for him. It was a security guard job at a mall. The pay was low, and he'd have to work for a long time, but he could start right away. Without thinking too much, Eddie said yes to the job. At the same time, there was a group of people from the U.S. Marshal Service. They were taking care of an 11-year-old girl named Jamie. She was going to be an important witness in a trial against a really scary gang called the 666. They were involved in organized crime. But while they were moving Jamie, the marshals noticed someone was following them. Before they knew it, a bunch of well-trained mercenaries attacked them. The marshals told Jamie to run into the forest and find help. All the marshals got killed, but Jamie managed to escape. The mercenaries realized Jamie had run away, so they quickly got rid of any evidence from the attack. Eddie, who still seemed affected by his tough time as a soldier, turned his attention. He called his wife to share the good news that he got a job as a security guard. He also made sure to send warm greetings to his dear daughter, someone he hadn't seen in a while. After the call, Eddie headed to the mall for his new job. He met a senior security guard named Vance, who introduced him to his co-workers, Ruby, Mason, and Johnny. They were all really friendly to Eddie. The mall's security system was acting up, and Vance thought it might be due to the bad weather. Eddie got his security guard uniform from Vance and was shown around the mall. He was curious why they needed 5 guards when the mall was closed. Vance explained that there had been a terrible robbery in the mall before, and many people lost their lives. The city was also under the control of some dangerous gangsters, so crime was pretty common. Vance had a secret crush on Ruby, one of his co-workers, who had a liking for drinks. When Eddie started his shift and was patrolling around, he saw Jamie desperately knocking on the mall's doors, asking to be let in. Without hesitating, Eddie opened the door and helped Jamie inside. She was really upset and eventually passed out on a couch. Eddie and Vance tried to call the police, but there was a strange problem. Their phones had no signal, and even the phone line was dead. Soon after that, a man named Charlie showed up at the mall, claiming to be Jamie's dad and looking for his daughter. Vance, without any doubt, told another security guard to bring Jamie down to meet him. But Eddie had his suspicions about Charlie. He noticed how frightened and anxious Jamie seemed, like she might be escaping from someone bad. So, Eddie decided to question Charlie about Jamie's characteristics. When Jamie was brought downstairs to meet Charlie, she freaked out, screamed in terror, and ran away from him. Eddie saw this and told Vance not to let Charlie in. However, here's the twist. Charlie wasn't really Jamie's father. He was the leader of the group that attacked the U.S. Marshals earlier. His plan was to capture Jamie, so he pretended to be her father. Charlie even offered money to Vance in exchange for Jamie. Vance got interested in the offer, which left Eddie with no choice but to intervene. Since Eddie wouldn't agree, Charlie threatened him and left to get ready for an ambush. He shared his strategy with the mercenaries: surround Jamie and the others from all sides, establish a perimeter, and disable their vehicle. Meanwhile, Eddie attempted to reach out to Jamie, who was hiding somewhere in the mall. Eventually, Jamie emerged from her hiding spot and asked Eddie to promise that he'd always protect her. Eddie agreed wholeheartedly. Once they were all together, Mason, one of the guards, shared the backstory of Jamie's father. He used to work with a bad group, but turned on them by telling the police about their crimes. Unfortunately, he got caught and killed. Jamie had seen this happen secretly, and because she was in danger, she had to be kept safe as a witness. After hearing the story, Eddie made sure Jamie was safe in a storage room while they stayed in touch using radios. Eddie asked Jamie to not open the door for anyone until it was totally safe. The other guards, including Vance, were very scared due to the threat from Charlie's gang. These guys managed to defeat skilled government agents, so they were dangerous. But Eddie, being a former Marine, wasn't afraid. He had some plans up his sleeve and tried to calm everyone down. Eddie and the guards worked together to create traps and homemade bombs to protect the mall and Jamie. Charlie launched his attack by sending a sniper in through the roof, while his other crew members tried to get in through the back door. Eddie and his team, with Vance's help, fought back and managed to take down some of the attackers. However, one of the snipers got inside and attacked Vance. Luckily, Ruby arrived just in time to save him. Charlie decided to pull his gang back temporarily to clean up the scene before their next move. Eddie and the guards then came up with a defense plan. Vance, Ruby, and Mason were assigned to guard the mall's entrances, while Johnny was to signal any passing police with a flashlight. Before long, Jamie came out of hiding and expressed her desire to help. Meanwhile, Charlie and his crew succeeded in sneaking into the mall with the help of their expert hacker. Jamie cleverly sent a remote car to Charlie, trying to divert his attention by showing a fake spot where Eddie had set up an ambush. Charlie then commanded his team to go to that location, promising them money if they managed to kill Jamie and threatening harm to their families if they refused. The mercenaries reached the supposed ambush spot, and one of them fell into a trap that Eddie had cleverly set. Ruby put up a fight by shooting arrows and even hit one of them. But these mercenaries were skilled fighters, so they fought back and severely hurt Ruby. Mason used the traps and makeshift weapons prepared by Eddie to take down two of them and claim their rifles. Through the walkie-talkie, Eddie checked on his coworkers and was relieved to know they were okay. Eddie instructed Mason to stay put while he went to retrieve one of the rifles. Unfortunately, the mercenaries discovered Eddie's location and attacked him, forcing Eddie to make a quick escape. A police patrol car was spotted heading towards the mall. It stopped right at the entrance. Johnny, on his part, attempted to do his job, but his flashlight malfunctioned. He decided to retreat and alert the police. Sadly, his movement was noticed by a sniper on the rooftop, who shot and killed Johnny before he could reach the police car. Eddie urged his coworkers to gather at the toy store. He managed to take down one of the mercenaries and seized his gun. Eddie then eliminated the other guards stationed there. Little did he know that Charlie was watching this on a security camera. Vance and Ruby emerged from hiding, but they were ambushed. Ruby rushed to protect Vance, urging him to escape right away. At the same time, the mercenaries had figured out where Mason was hiding. They wanted to take him out, but Eddie got there just in the nick of time and took them all down. Eddie and the rest of the group managed to reach the toy store and hide out. Charlie, who had been watching everything, got really mad and decided to step in himself to wipe them out. Sadly, Ruby couldn't make it due to her severe injuries. Vance was devastated by losing the woman he cared for, the same woman who had saved his life. Eddie then told Jamie to find a safe place and gave her a doll that had a hidden weapon inside. Jamie opened up to Eddie about her life, which had been filled with fear ever since her father's death. The dangerous 666 gang had been after her. Eddie felt for her and said sorry for not fully getting her situation earlier, but he assured Jamie that he'd keep his promise to protect her and firmly rejected Charlie's offer to hand her over. Meanwhile, Mason noticed that a U.S. Marshal's car had arrived right in front of the mall. On the flip side, Eddie spots a weird van, and it turns out to be Charlie's radio van. Their main hacker is inside, helping the mercenaries with their attacks. Eddie gets a feeling that the hacker's blocking their signal, making their phones useless. Eddie plans to sneak out through the back door to meet the U.S. Marshals. He asks Vance to watch the toy store entrance, but after Eddie goes, the mercenaries break in, and Vance ends up in a tough shootout against them. Meanwhile, the U.S. Marshals tell Eddie to kneel down and point a gun at him. But Eddie explains that he's not Jamie's kidnapper, he's just a security guard. Eddie signals Mason to take Jamie to the U.S. Marshals. However, Eddie notices 666 tattoo marks on their necks. It dawns on him that these guys are from the criminal gang, pretending to be federal agents to deceive Eddie. On another note, Mason and Jamie, who had come out of hiding, face an attack from the mercenaries. Mason gets shot and doesn't make it, but Jamie manages to escape. Vance eliminates the rest of the mercenaries to help Jamie get away, but he gets hurt pretty badly and can't do much. Once they dealt with the fake agents, Eddie told Jamie to get a radio and call for help. Little did they know, Charlie was listening in through a walkie-talkie. Charlie told his remaining men to take out Eddie while he searched for Jamie. Eddie hurried to disable the radio van, restoring the signal. He took down the mercenaries there and then faced off against Charlie's right-hand man called Dead Eyes. They fought hard, but Eddie eventually got the upper hand after a tough brawl. Eddie hopped on a motorized trike, crashed into the radio van, and used Vance's gun to finish off Dead Eyes, following the plan Vance had shared earlier. Even though Eddie got shot a few times, he managed to eliminate the sniper guarding the area. While all this was happening, Charlie was tracking Jamie at the mall. He shared with the girl how he also had a rough time when his dad left him. Charlie offered to protect Jamie if she kept quiet. Jamie managed to escape briefly, but Charlie caught up and found her hiding spot. Right when Charlie was about to harm Jamie, Eddie appeared, wounded and struggling. Charlie suggested that Eddie take the money and leave so his friends wouldn't die in vain, but Eddie stuck to his choice and his promise. Unexpectedly, Jamie used a taser hidden in the doll Eddie gave her, catching Charlie off guard. This gave Eddie the chance to shoot Charlie in the head with Vance's gun, ending his life. Jamie called the police right away, and they finally arrived. They were ready to keep Jamie safe. Jamie thanked Eddie and gave him a tight hug before the police took her. Eddie saw Vance being taken to an ambulance, having made it through his injuries. A few days later, Jamie visited Eddie in the hospital. She shared how fortunate his daughter was to have a dad like him. Jamie's uncle came to take her home. The film concludes with Eddie recovering and reuniting with his wife and daughter. The moral of the story is never underestimate a determined security guard with a soft heart and a brave kid armed with a hidden taser. Bad guys might have a plan, but good guys and their clever dolls can turn things around.